Take us back to the beginning of your own journey. Where did this pleasure or passion for food get introduced into your own journey?
I mean, I was born in Casablanca, Morocco, to a French, Spanish mom, a Sicilian dad. I'm one of 17 siblings. You have no choice but to be immersed in food. Otherwise, you don't eat. It's a long table. It's an incredibly vocal family. It started there. Neither my mom or dad knew how to read or write. They both were. They never drove a car. I mean, if you looked at my mom and you looked at my dad and you put them next to me, you'll think that they were my great-great-grandparents. So my dad could really sit down, just look you and I sitting down and talk to you about the Old Testament, the New Testament, by heart, talk to you about Freud, talk to you about Nietzsche. So he was, and all that education comes from his dad, just like this, not school. I think my dad, one of the things that he really imparted on us is that there is something bigger than us. And even if we don't see it, it's because maybe we're not ready to see it, we're not capable to see it. Food was one of them. I mean, really, the first experience I remember, my dad would bring a cow home and they would butcher it at home and he would open it up and every piece of that cow mattered. And there was a respect for what we were about to eat and a blessing that animal was on earth for our survival, for our pleasures. And because of that, he goes, nothing in here is going to get wasted.
Well, you really gain an appreciation when you know where your food comes from versus
absolutely.
Just going to a grocery store and picking up what you need. You just tapped into something that I wanted to ask you. Why does food matter? Because there's a biological reality. We need food to live. But there's a cultural reality related to significance and meaning. And speak to the meaning and significance of food.
Well, think about it. We don't need a car to survive. We don't need a house to survive. We don't need a jet. We need each other. And for each other to keep going, we need to eat. If pleasure was not associated with it, we wouldn't do it. So pleasure, I would argue, is a way for us to survive. And then there is that bigger piece. Once that pleasure is satisfied, what it does to your soul and everything that it triggers in your life. You are a better friend, you're a better parent, you're a better husband. There are so many triggers out there.
There's actually a word called commensalacy that goes back to the medieval times. Oh. Are you familiar with that word?
No.
It's a word that talks about the shared table. It's the bond of affection that is deepened because we've experienced. It's not just for survival. It's the enriching of life, and that's what you're speaking to there.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'd rather eat a bad meal sitting down with you than eat the greatest meal by myself.
Oh, wow, that's really great.
There is science, there is physics that proves how we as human beings, when we interact with each other, and then there's food around us, how all our endorphins are heightened, everything is heightened, our senses are heightened, our ability to taste becomes, if we are on a scale of 1 to 10, it's by ourselves, it's a 3 or a 4. With someone else, it's a 5 or 6. With more people, when the occasion is a wedding, it goes to a 10. So absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay, come with me to the foodscape. And how has the foodscape changed since the pandemic?
In every blessing, there's a curse, and in every curse, there's a blessing. I mean, the curse of it is you had a lot of people making terrible sourdough at home, and calling it a masterpiece. But joking aside, we in our industry have learned how to be better human beings. I haven't had a day off on a Friday or Saturday back to back in 40 years, unless I went on vacation. And all of a sudden, I'm home every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And it felt amazing to be with the family. My own epiphany is that how can I create a world in my small family company that gives the people who make my business work, How do I give them a sense that this place cares about the time that they spend with their family, and make a meal? I mean, we are the so-called experts. We cook for every stranger, but we don't cook for our own family. So we started alternating people having weekends off, etc. The second piece, I think, that is really, really important, it was humbling. And when you get humbled, you simplify things. And art and pleasure of food lives in the simplicity. You take an incredibly beautiful tomato, in season. I don't believe that we should be eating strawberries in the winter. I mean, that's not how God made it. It's seasonal. But you take a beautiful piece of tomato, the right amount of salt, a touch of olive oil, a beautiful piece of sourdough, maybe a glass of wine if you drink, if you don't, water, and it's good. The simplicity, we went back to basics, making the simple taste unbelievable. I think the pandemic has really opened those things. People are eating at home, correct? And they are making food, and they're going, wow, we can do this. I always think that the biggest ripoff are cookbooks, and I'm writing one right now. So I'm sort of a little bit of a hypocrite in there, because I really think we rely so much on somebody telling us what is instinctually in us, that we smell, we see, we test. What's the worst thing that can happen? You make a bad meal. If you're blessed with a long life, you can do that 365 times, 3 days, 3 times a day if you're eating for 80 years, 90 years. And that's an incredible experience.
You gave me a beautiful invitation several years ago to come and actually dedicate Fhima's restaurant to the Lord, which tells me there's a connection that's clear in your mind and heart with God and food.
In my connection to God, it's a duty for me to make a good meal and enjoy it, because that food didn't come by itself. Somebody made it. That farmer, yeah, but who taught the farmer? And who brought the rain? And who made the earth smell and taste? It's godly. And I have a duty to enjoy it. The other duty, which is to make it for others. Now, it's a business for us, for sure. But during the pandemic, we had so much food out there. We did not know what to do with all that food. So we decided, let's get together with other chefs and give it away. Not because we were these good people, but because that was, what else would you do? Throwing it away would have been very stupid. So we did it, and we realized the need that there is out there, that this amazing country that we believe in, there are still people who need and don't have. So Minnesota Central Kitchen was created. We participated. And at some point we were making 10, 13, 15,000 meals a week. And now it became Kitchen Coalition. It's partnered with Second Harvest. And what I thought I could never do, not because I didn't want to, but because I couldn't afford it, it's what we're doing right now every day, and we are affording it just fine. And actually we're prospering even more so. So that connection between enjoying yourself and whatever it is that you are doing that gives you joy, shared with other people, is absolutely elementary.
I'm so glad you spoke to that. You know, we have, as an anchor to our DNA at Westwood, what we call the rhythm of life. God gives, with open hands we receive, with open hands we give away, and God receives glory, honor, and praise, and gives all the more. God gives food. We receive food. We give away food. When we give it away, we touch the heart of God, and we honor Him. We put a smile on the face of God, and He gives all the more. You just affirmed that very rhythm with that expression.
That's amazing. But I read the Old Testament, I read the New Testament, and I have not seen it in there, but I'm pretty sure it's hidden somewhere. Don't mess up the food, okay? That God's instructions to you, don't mess it up. You know how you don't mess up the food? and how you maximize the pleasure, be honest. Take the time. Share it with somebody else. That's the pathway to being an incredibly good cook. It's not me telling you, well, water boils at 212, that's I'm not gonna say the word. I'm not using kitchen words today, which is very hard to talk to you. I keep sort of like swallowing them back. I'm gonna have a huge explosion in the kitchen tonight.
This is the longest I've been with you when I exercise such restraint. I'm going to just tell you something that is in the Bible. God does some of his finest work around tables. He brings people together. He brings nations together. And that's happening in the Twin Cities too. Are you seeing that kind of explosion of flavors and spices that have changed who we are as a Twin Cities?
I moved here from Los Angeles in the middle 90s. And the food scene has changed for the better. It's incredible. But food is a culture. It's a culture. And as incredibly smart and powerful this amazing country that I call home today, I think we need more of that food culture. We need that diversity. We need those spices. We need people from around the world bring that in, where in those days, paella, salsa people did not know how to spell it. Today, it's everywhere. But you know what's amazing about that? Not only the pleasure of it, it's bringing people. We understand each other better. We are in each other's shoes. And there is no more powerful way to connect with somebody than to be in their space for a minute.
David, you're known as a visionary all around the Twin Cities. And you have a vision for food, plating food. It's not just what you eat, it's how you plate it. And what is that like for you, taking food and making it beautiful by its presentation?
So the plating is not for me. The plating is for you. It's the effort that I put into it and the research that I put into it to tell you how much I cherish and I respect the fact that you're here. Will scrambled eggs on a plate taste different when it's presented better? Absolutely. Because the message, when I look at it, that is being sent from my eyes to my brain, this person likes me. My senses are enhanced. I am in a much more receptive way to enjoy that. And it's really critical.
It communicates value, appreciation, bonding. That's really beautiful. Take your vision for being a restaurateur. What's ahead for David Fhima and restaurants that might be before you?
Well, we are blessed by opportunities. And our biggest challenge right now is what to say yes to and what to say no to. We're going to be on your neck of the woods in Excelsior coming up soon. Very excited about that. An Italian restaurant where you'll be able to see pasta being made in front of you, hung like on a wire, the same wire that they hang clothes on back in Italy. So that wire will either have somebody's shirt or underwear or spaghetti, and I think it's good either way. I'm a bread guy, and my mom gave me a starter dough that her mom gave her, which is 130 years old. So we opened in little bakeries. This starter. During COVID, we didn't want it to die, so we're giving it away. People blame us for the little bad sourdough craze. I think we'll probably take some of that blame. But we really business is not whatever drove me to do what I do. It's stupid to want to make money in my industry. You just don't. But it's really the love of people and the love of making people happy and seeing them enjoy. I am twice as blessed as you are when I make you a dish. You are blessed to enjoy it. I am blessed seeing you enjoy it and making it.
Wow. If God is a table God, he's privileged me to sit at this table with you. And I want to thank you, David Fhima, for your passion, for your love, for the friendship we enjoy. So Thank you, David Fhima.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.